Good day to you. My name is Maria Kądzielska and you're watching Poland Daily Culture. Imagine a world without a big government, when people have a lot of freedom and they can choose, well, a lot of things. With us in the studio is Tomasz Kolodziejczuk, a libertarianist activist.
Libertarian activist, yes. Libertarianism is a movement of radical freedom, where people think that society should be organized voluntarily, without state or with minimal interference of state. There we are. We just want less government. We don't think it's doing good for people.
Well, but of course the question is, well, the government is also supposed to take care of the most weak and those who people don't want to take care of. And the government is the one who is supposed to provide some sort of, for example, public transportation or...
Well, it was not the government who invented cars and transportation. It is not the government which raised people out of poverty in China by giving them access to the global markets, by giving them jobs. It's not the government that invented containers, ships. It's not the government that makes us all connected with phones. It's all markets. It looks like the entrepreneurial spirit of the people is moving us forward and is bringing us out of poverty. Government is the force which is stopping businesses to happen, which is pretending to be helping, but gaining political power from it. If we actually look at societies and history, the most good for the people was done by the people. And who did the most worse? Who did the biggest murders, concentration camps?
Part of the state, of course, led by people. And the other thing is that if we allow all of this, but human beings are awful creatures, and down there in our natures we like.
Well, I don't think so, but if there is a possibility that some of us are awful creatures, maybe we shouldn't give people power. Maybe society shouldn't be organized where we have sultan, sheikh, tsar, president, prime minister.
Maybe it's part of the nature of human beings that unfortunately some of them wants to be over the others, called the noble blood.
Today we legalize it. Today we give people power who you can buy votes, and it's not everybody can get power. Maybe we should just get rid of it and let people be, let people do businesses within themselves. Why do we need kings? Why do we need authorities? It's not 17th century anymore. But today, politicians have even more power than kings used to have.
Very recently, you were a main organizer of an event in Warsaw called the Weekend of Capitalism, where you were trying to promote all of those ideas.
Yes, luckily, in Poland, this perception of ideas of freedom is quite friendly. I think it seems that the generation of our parents, they saw what living under socialism was like. And we can see what living under, let's say, capitalism and more free market is like. And we see how much difference it is. That's why people prefer the solutions of less government and more capitalism, more market in Poland. So we have this quite growing and quite vivid movement of libertarians in Poland. There is few NGOs and organizations which economically teach students and young professionals why free markets are good. There are NGOs which do some street activism and educate societies on, hey, maybe how government is trying to protect you, maybe it's not necessarily for your good. And we meet annually at Weekend of Capitalism, like the biggest gathering of free market minds. So we have, so there is like people from various groups, academia, business, art, politics, people from each of the groups which are pro-free market, which are pro-freedom, and which do not, they do not feel ashamed of showing under the brand of capitalism, because, well, capitalism does not have the good rep on the street today, and we are trying to change it, showing that hey, this is not like a system of rich, angry people, but it's not a system. It's an organization of society without the government. And we try to show it that it's actually beneficial to society, and there is more and more people who are friendly to such ideas. Because, well, today we are arguing whether right wing is good or left wing is good, while looking from the distance, looks like these two sides are quite the same. They all are for more government in education, more government in agriculture, more government in defense. Everywhere they want more government. There is not many groups, many political parties which say, hey, we want less politics in our lives. They just argue what politics should be about. No, we just want less politics in our lives. We do not need politicians. We do not need that much government as politicians are trying to tell us from the young age that we do.
Well, so you definitely, but freedom, of course, is a case of responsibility. So talking about freedom without responsibility is like talking about a coin, but only on one side.
Citizens, they need to be responsible for their actions, but politicians do not. So maybe we should tell government, hey, think about responsibilities. Who will be responsible for results of your policies in 50 years when you will be gone? But we will have no money in the pension funds. We will have problems with enough technology in our country, with enough entrepreneurs, with enough businesses. Who will be responsible for these results of socialist policies in our countries? Not them.
So basically, you're trying to say to people that this form of cooperation, which ends up in as a real capitalism and producing things, is a way also for people to flourish, to develop, and for societies to go forward.
Yes, well, what I understand a capitalism is, it's not like a system where some laws are written how society should be organized. No, it's a natural state of interaction within a society. Because whenever, like, free people without coercion do something, they do because they think they'll gain for it. They come to the studio because they think they have some maybe moral benefit, maybe because they are paid. They exchange goods and services. They interact in an economic way because both parties usually win. Why would I sell a bottle of water to you for €1? Because I prefer to have €1 than a bottle. Why would you buy this bottle from me? Because you would prefer the bottle than €1. So this exchange somehow is beneficial to both of the parties. And like millions of interactions like this is what we call capitalism. It's the system of voluntary interactions between people where both parties gain. When there is like a win-win situation,
Well, looking at you, of course, it comes to question, what sort of dollar you have here in your sweater, and what does it mean?
Oh, well, that's our pin. That's a logo of our event, Weekend Capitalism. And that's
which is a weekend of capitalism.
Weekend of Capitalism, yes. There's a Polish gathering of free market groups. And what we try to achieve with this annual event is we try to show people that capitalism is good. We do a good PR for capitalism, and this is what this logo embodies. So lots of people look at the dollar and they think that, oh, it's a symbol of something bad, it's a symbol of money, money is evil. We are showing that this dollar is actually consisting of two hands right before, like either you can interpret it as one hand is helping another, or like those are hands before the handshake. Because handshake is actually what symbolizes the capitalism. It's like when I offer you something, when we exchange, I don't know, goods, services, work, we say thank you. Both of us say thank you.
Thank you.
And then in this moment, we create this dollar.
And we create the dollar. Well.
So we try to show that, I don't know, try to create a good image, logo for capitalism.
It's basically saying that there's cooperation between people, and especially not designed by the government or interfered by the government, is the source of wealth in the society.
Well, whenever we do any deal voluntarily, we do it because we think this is good for us and that the effect of this deal will be beneficial to both parties. And then comes the government, which could interfere. Why would you stop something when both of the parties say thank you? Why would you tell, hey, give me 20% of this deal because I want to organize it somehow, in some way? Usually governments uses our money worse than what we would do with our money.
Okay, and looking at all of this, we of course have what is the cultural base? What is the source of this movement and this intellectual movement?
Well, it's usually it's a recognition of freedom as the best environment for people to flourish. We all love to be free. We do not like coercion. We cannot be creative, productive when we are coerced. And government is kind of a form of legalized coercion. This dollar was actually inspired by Ayn Rand. So she was an American philosopher and writer who created in late 50s, 60s, 70s. She's not alive anymore, but she created quite important books giving philosophical and cultural foundations for this laissez-faire capitalism movement.
How much does the government interfere into your life, and how do you feel with it? And do you want to stand it? Do you want to change it? Maybe you would like to become a libertarianist. Well, this is an open question. And again, thank you very much for watching our show, and stay tuned.